Hello students, in this video I am going to start the topic Communalism of Democratic Politics Chapter 4 Gender, Religion and Caste. The problem starts when religion is seen as the basis of the nation and it becomes more acute when religion is expressed in politics. If I ask you how a country is formed, answer is a country is formed with people, so we should have a feeling of nationalism. But a communal mind would take religion as the basis of a nation, and when such feelings arise, it is expressed in politics, and this happens when beliefs of one religion are presented as superior to those of other religions. Along with that, state power is used to establish domination of one religious group over the rest. So, here other religious groups are dominated as one religion thinks that the state is formed because of that religion, and state power is also used here. In simple words, when you use one religion in politics to dominate other religious groups, and for that you even use state power, it is called communalism. When you consider religion as the basis of nation, then you believe that the followers of same religion form one community, like you start believing all the Hindus as one community, all the Christians as one community, and so on. Actually, it is your perception that followers of a particular religion must belong to community and their fundamental interests are the same. And if any difference that they may have is irrelevant for community life. You perceive that all Hindus think in the same manner, all Muslims think in the same manner, and so on. You actually restrict the thinking of others in your own religion. Up till now, we have discussed the concept of only one particular religion. But there are different religions, and a communal mind even perceives that the interests of different religions are not the same. A communal mind thinks that the interest of other religions does not match with his religion, and that's why he calls other religions as different community. But nationalism is not restricted to religion. It transcends the boundaries of religions, and a nationalist mind sees himself as an Indian first rather than just a Hindu or a Christian. For this, the communal mind argues that if the followers of different religion have some commonalities, these are superficial and immaterial. Their interests are bound to be different and involve a conflict. Therefore, they cannot live together. Either one of them has to dominate the rest, or they have to form different nations. This belief is fundamentally flawed as people of one religion do not have the same interests. They may have different notion in name of communalism. For promoting your own religion, you suppress many voices within that community. Why? Because you perceive that their fundamental interests are same, but actually there can be different opinions in one religious community. Now we'll see what various forms communalism takes in politics. The most common expression of communalism is in everyday beliefs which involve religious prejudices, stereotypes of religious communalities, and belief in the superiority of one's religion over other religions. Here, a communal mind forms the feeling of religious prejudice, like when you belong to a particular religion and make different notions towards other religion on your own. And because of that, you always point out mistakes in other religions. This is so common that even we believe in it but often fail to notice. We even perceive that our religion is superior over others. You believe that it is genuine to appreciate one's own religion, but actually you are moving towards the initial stage of communalism. It means you think there is nothing wrong in promoting our own religion, but for that you are trying to suppress other religion. Next, a communal mind often leads to a quest for political dominance of one's own religious community. Suppose a communal political leader desires power, and to come into power, he'll try to use religious sentiments. For political power, he'll try to bring together the leaders of his own religion and will try to bring together the people of his religion. And if the leader is of majority community, then it will take the form of majoritarianism. The same thing we have seen in chapter 1, where the leaders of Singhala community brought together the people of Singhala community, which took the form of majoritarianism. If a communal mind will desire political dominance with the help of religion, then he will establish majoritarian dominance, and because of that, minority will have to suffer. It can happen in minority religion also. If a communal mind tries to bring together the people of minority religion, then it would demand a separate political unit. Other form which communalism can take in politics is political mobilization on religious lines. This involves the use of sacred symbols, religious leaders, emotional appeal, and plain fear in order to bring the followers of one religion together in the political arena. Many political leaders or political parties in order to mobilize people in the name of religion use sacred symbols. In election campaigns, many leaders use specific color flag or a specific symbol which are connected to a particular religion. With that, they give a clear message that they support a particular religion which is not correct. They even take the help of religious leaders, that is, publicly they will show respect towards a particular religious leader in order to gain votes of that religion. Leaders in their speeches may use people's religious interests in order to attract them, or leaders may scare the people in the name of religion. Next, sometimes communalism takes its most ugly form of communal violence, riots, and massacre. Partition of India was the most ugly phase of communalism, where so many people were killed and the country was divided. The post independence period has also seen a large scale communal violence. Sometimes even a small issue takes the larger form and the situation between two communities become worse.